Well, good evening and welcome to Meaningful Monday, the very first Monday of January. I cannot believe it's already the new year. It seemed like 2022 just flew by. So this is a recording. It's actually the 2nd of January. It is the 2nd of January today, just the morning now. I'll be leaving to go away and there probably isn't very good reception there. That's the reason I'm doing a recording. Otherwise, I'd absolutely have done a live one because I love the interaction with all of you. So what I thought I'd do for kicking off the new year. So first of all, very, very happy new year to everybody. I hope that 2023 is really fantastic and rewarding and fulfilling and creative year for you, and happy and full of love and fun and good things. So what I thought I'd do, discussing my lessons from 2022, if you watched Meaningful Monday for December, I shared a reflection process, and I do reflect at the end of every year, something I learned from John Maxwell. And if you haven't reflected on your previous year, please do watch Meaningful Monday recording from December. It's on my YouTube channel. The bottom there is not quite correct. It's called Silver Method Australia, is the YouTube channel or my name. Do watch the reflection one if you haven't, and reflect on your year. So as I reflected on mine, I thought I'd take just a couple of learnings. There were so many, and I could really talk about this for hours and hours and hours. And I kid you not, if you do take the time to reflect on your year, I think you will realize there's a lot of gold nuggets, but they just remain experiences unless we go back and actually mine that gold, polish it up, and take it with us into the new year. So let me kick off. And for any of you here who are new to Meaningful Monday, I just want to say a very warm welcome. And it's the first Monday of every month. There's a free webinar, and I just do a different lesson each time. And then we generally end off with a short guided meditation. So if you would like to grab a paper and pen right now to take notes, either for this or during the guided meditation, you actually write some things down as you get some answers to questions that you're going to ask yourself. All right, so let's kick off. So I think when it comes to lessons, the one thing that I did first of all do was just look at areas of my life, and they could be different to this if they're yours. I just generally try to put things into kind of simple buckets and not have too many categories. But I did look at my health and reflected on that for the year and what could I learn. I looked at my career, my business, or my purpose. What am I actually doing with my life? How am I serving, here? And then relationships. When it comes to relationships, it's every relationship. It's your significant other if you have one. It's your family. If you think about family, it's every relationship you have in your family. It's your friends. Um, Really, really important relationships, friends, and all relationships, including clients and even people who are just acquaintances. You might just meet them at the gym or the barista at your coffee shop. Just all relationships in your life, and how are they, and what is the quality of those relationships, and do they fulfill you, do they make you happy, and questions like that. And if not, what are you intending to do about it? And if they're important relationships, like such as family, and you can't really get away from them, how can you improve them? Because really our family is the area of our lives where we're most triggered. We tend to get often the most triggered and the most hurt by the ones who we love or love us the most. So I think relationships is a massive category, really, for life, and the one with the biggest opportunities for your personal growth. Everything else is lighter than that. If we can really make our relationships high quality, with love and acceptance and respect, understanding, joy, happiness, I think we've achieved enormously in our life, especially when we can do that across all of them. And if we've got some broken ones, like, what are we doing about that? Are we going to leave them? Are we going to heal them? Are we going to do it ourselves? Are we going to forgive? You don't have to engage with anyone to go through that process of forgiveness. But what are you doing? It's just a question to ponder and to think about. And are there any that are already in need of improving or mending? And then spirituality is a very important category for me. I'm a person of faith. Um, I want to know for sure that I've improved somehow, some way in my relationship with God. That is what really guides my life. I know my intuition. You know, if Wayne Dyer said, if prayer is when we're talking to God, then intuition is when God is talking to you. So the closer that relationship and the more awareness we put towards that, the more life, or my life for certain, seems to be guided. And the more guided my life is, the easier it is, and the more things work out. And I call it living in the flow. For those of you who may not know, I wrote a book called Living in the Flow, and one of those chapters is exactly that. It's about intuition. Another chapter is about that connection and awareness of our connection that we always have to source energy, God, whatever name you wish to give it. Then fun, definitely. I look back on my year, and I saw I did quite a lot of fun things. I did. I had a lot of fun in 2022. I'm just tend to be a person who likes to have fun anyway. But I did make a point of that last year, and I'm definitely taking that into this year. So just as an example, I'm going away again today for a couple of days. I was away a couple of days before that, and I went away before that. So it's almost like 3 little holidays during this Christmas and New Year period. But have fun and get together with people that you love. If you love music and dance, do that. You know, if you love hiking or going out into nature, do that. Whatever it is, you know, have more fun. And then money, yep. I love the subject of money. I love to teach the subject of money because money is measurable. So if you wanted to see how you are doing in your personal development and actually changing, not just with knowledge that's only in our head, but actually applying it into our life and getting results, money is a really, really good subject to do it with because you can measure it. Have you changed or haven't you? Has it improved or has it declined? Or has it stayed the same? Did you want it to increase, but it didn't? So that's another category. So I'm just sharing with you how I kind of use reflection. And now let me jump into some of the lessons. All right, so the very first lesson is forgiveness. I really want to emphasize the importance of forgiveness. And, you know, years ago, I'll be honest, there was a time where I was resistant to practice forgiveness regarding certain situations or people. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it was arrogance. Who knows? I don't know. But I knew there was forgiveness required. And I was like, oh, I'll leave it for another day. I'm not going to do that now. I won't do that now. I don't know what it is. But looking back, I always remember the words of Dr. Wayne Dyer, who said, sometimes we struggle to forgive a person because we haven't finished punishing them yet. And that sounds so awkward and it sounds so bizarre. Like, we're not punishing anyone. If we don't forgive, we're really not punishing the person at all. We're only hurting ourselves. So I think, you know, looking at the categories in my life, and I wrote there, if you are triggered, the only question to ask yourself is, who do I need to forgive? Now, I've got a picture there of a prison, and if you're making notes, please write this down. Or draw a little prison and put a little man inside there. That little man or woman could be you. When I did Heal Your Life in Cairns, which I'll talk quite a bit about during tonight, I learned a lot of lessons. Doing Heal Your Life in Cairns in October, massively. I had such transformation. It's beyond description. How much I learned, and the lessons just keep unfolding day after day, even after leaving that course. But the one thing we did on Heal Your Life was I actually drew in my journal when I was there, a little prison with a person there, and the heading above the prison was self-righteous resentment. And I want you to know that self-righteous resentment is a prison that we lock ourselves in, and we hold the key. And it's up to us to use that key to get out. And that key is forgiveness. And if we don't use that key and we stay in our prison of self-righteous resentment, all I can tell you is you will remain stuck. And I mean that. You'll be stuck in 1, 2, 3, many categories of your life. The categories I had on the previous slide, you'll be stuck in those categories. Maybe some more than others, but definitely we think if we don't forgive, it does nothing and we can just park it over there and it doesn't interfere with our life. It's not possible. We are energetic beings. We are energy beings. We are living in a universe of energy. Every single thing, from the mouse to the computer to the air, the chair I'm sitting on, my body, the sound of my voice, everything is down to atoms and subatomic particles, which is energy, particles of energy in states of vibration. So if we have this negative energy of lack of forgiveness, there's no way it cannot affect our life. And it's more significant than we think. If we don't think about it and deal with it, it doesn't affect our life. It so does. So, if you're triggered, the only question to ask yourself is, who do I need to forgive? I really would like you to take the time to think about forgiveness, and knowing that forgiveness is a practice. It's an absolute practice. It's not a one-time thing. I'm going to forgive this person for something they did, and then once I'm done with it, okay, my job is done. It doesn't work that way. So I just want to mention that when I went to Cairns, and on day one to do Heal Your Life. So I went to Cairns, for those of you who may not know, in October, to become a Louise Hay certified workshop leader in the workshop of Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. So if anyone hasn't read the book Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, I highly recommend it. Amazing book. It changed my life. So I went there to do the actual course first, the 2 days, and then to become a trainer. So I'm now certified, and I ran the first workshop in December 15 and 16, which was fantastic. So when I went there, we had to set our intention for the workshop. And my intention was to work on forgiveness, particularly with two people in my family, my mother and my brother. And I love them very much. As I said before, we've often triggered and have difficult relationships with people that either we love the most or love us the most. And that is just how it is. And I have to say, I got so many other things come up for me during the 2 days in Heal Your Life. A lot of other things that I had no idea about just kind of came up and was ready for me to process. And I'm so grateful for that. But the point is, because my intention was forgiveness as one of my focal points, I could deal with anything. Like, what do you want to heal your life with? Like, what do you want to deal with? It could be anything. But I chose that because I know it's an area that will make me a better person. It's just good for my spiritual growth, good for my relationships, good for opening my heart and loving more. And I have to say, the feeling that I have inside, especially regarding my mother, is one of more peace inside, more of an open heart, more love, more understanding, more acceptance, more tolerance, which I'm very happy about. And I think it just gets better and better. There's always more work to do. It never ends, the journey. I'd like to do more with my brother. So the point I want to make is, forgiveness is a practice, and the word means practice, 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 practice. It never ends. But the more we practice, the better our life becomes. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The next thing also regarding forgiveness is, I just love that picture. It breaks the chains that bind you to the negativity in the past, whatever it was, the hurt, the betrayal, the anger, whatever it is, that to release that from you is really what forgiveness is about. So forgiveness is a gift. It's a gift that you give yourself. Some people misunderstand forgiveness. They think it's about condoning behavior. It's got nothing to do with condoning behavior. We're not saying the person gets away with anything. It's not about that. Forgiveness is about you. It's about that horrible feeling you have inside when you think about that incident. Do you want to live with that inside you for the rest of your life? I love this analogy about a snake bite. Wayne Dyer taught me this. He said, it's not the snake bite that kills you. You know, someone can bite you. They can bite you. They can do something terrible to you. The snake bite doesn't kill you. It's the venom in your blood, in your body, that eventually kills you. So when it comes to forgiveness, it's the same thing. It's not the perpetrator's action or whatever happened that hurts you. It's the thoughts, the negativity inside ourselves that we hold, that resentment, that anger. And we need to release that from our bodies and our energy field and our life. We need to let that go so we can be happier and have a better life. So really, those chains there, look at that. It's such a beautiful picture, that it really is. And those birds, it's freedom. So when I see that picture, I just see absolute freedom. And we do feel more free in every way, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. We feel freer when we practice forgiveness. The next thing about forgiveness is, and when it comes to money, for those of you who may or may not know, I teach several masterminds regarding money. As I said, I love the subject of money, and I do love money. If anyone's got a problem hearing that, you've got some negative programming there or limiting belief. Money is neither good nor bad, except for what you make of it. And if I do good with money and help other causes and improve the lives of those less fortunate than I, then how can money in any regard ever be bad? Of course, some people do bad things with money. As I said, money is neither good nor bad, except what people make of it. So when it comes to forgiveness, again, if you have a block with money, like you want to earn more money, increase your income, and just somehow you don't seem to make that happen. Again, the only question you have to ask yourself is, who do I need to forgive? Now you might say to me, Janine, this has got nothing to do with it. What has money got to do with the subject of forgiveness? I'm telling you, it's got everything to do with the subject of forgiveness. So the masterminds that I run on money are things like the science of getting rich, Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh. But in Think and Grow Rich, that mastermind, I run it every year. It's a foundational program that I do. At the end of the mastermind, I do a second mini mastermind for just 4 weeks, and it's called the Epilogue to Think and Grow Rich, the 3 missing chapters. And it's a book with the 3 missing chapters. And the book's written by Paul Martinelli, and he's my mentor. When I've met him several times, he started the John Maxwell team. I'm a part of the John Maxwell team. And Paul Martinelli tells the story of himself in his own life when he was down and out or really struggling. He couldn't make more than 20 or 23 or whatever $1,000 a year. And eventually a mentor came into his life, which put him onto Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And this mentor actually studied the book with Paul, or helped him study the book. And his income just started to take off and things all started to come right. And then he hit like a $200,000 a year glass ceiling. And he couldn't get any more business than that. You know, he'd get a big contract and he'd lose another one. Something good would happen, then something bad would happen. So it kind of kept him there. And one day, complaining to his mentor that he's applying all the principles in Think and Grow Rich. He's doing everything, you know, he's being persistent, he's having faith, he's doing his 6 steps, which is like an affirmation on what you want to achieve. You know, he's visualizing, he's writing affirmations, he's having a positive mindset, he's doing everything, but he can't get past it, and he's complaining bitterly. So his mentor says to him, Paul, I want you to go and see this particular person. He'll help you. So Paul thinks, okay, great, there's some answer here. And when he goes to this person, it's actually a priest, and he sits down and Paul tells him everything, complains all over again and tells him the whole long story. And at the end of it, the priest says nothing else but these words. He says, Paul, who do you need to forgive? And in that moment, in that second, the first thing he thought was, the guy's mistaken me for someone else. He's got the wrong guy. I haven't come to talk to him about this. But in the same millisecond, he realized that his mother, he has to forgive his mother. He was very badly abused, physically abused by his mother. And, you know, he thought to himself, I'm prepared to do anything to grow my income. I'm prepared to do anything to grow my business, but I'm not prepared to forgive my mother. It was just the worst childhood ever. And when that priest said that to him, he kind of had this light bulb moment, knowing that that resistance to forgive is the block that's preventing him from opening the floodgates to money. And he decided then and there he was finally going to take the step and practice forgiveness. And he did. And the story unfolds, and he's sold over, I don't know, $700 million worth of products or something enormous like that. Maybe not 700, maybe 200 million. But anyway, it's millions and millions. Very successful, done really well. And he said when he started to practice forgiveness, the floodgates just opened. So I mentioned that it's really something for everyone to think about. If you do have any problems in your life with money, take it seriously when the question is put to you, who do you need to forgive? And think deeply. Go all the way back to the earliest memories you have of your childhood up till now. And maybe even do it in a meditation and ask for the answers to come. Or do something like Heal Your Life as a 2-day workshop. I've got another one coming up in March on the 16th and 17th. It's not publicized yet. But forgiveness is something, it really is that key to let us out that prison that keeps us stuck in certain areas of our life. All right. So the other thing about money is it's a currency and it must flow. So that's something else, is a lesson, and I want to share that with you. It's not one of the major lessons that I'm sharing here, but in my own life, when I was putting this together, I was actually sitting with Nancy, who works with me, and we were discussing these lessons. There's so much to discuss. I mean, we could talk about this ad infinitum, and there's so much, but we were saying, I said to her, can you guess, what do I do if I ever see that money stops flowing? Like money kind of trickles into my account all the time because I don't have a salary check at one date of the month. I run my own business. So the money kind of flows in different drips and drabs and comes in different days, different amounts. And I said, when I realize that there's suddenly this gap and nothing's flowing, what do you think I do? And all the answers came like, oh, you practice gratitude. I said, yes, I do, but it's not that. Oh, you visualize or use the silver method. I said, oh, yes, I do, but it's not that, but I do that. And had, all these different answers. Forgiveness. And I said, no, the thing I actually do very first is tithe. I just look how much money I have and I just give away 10%. I just tithe. And I find the minute I tithe, the floodgates open, and really, honestly, it's like miracles. And I have done tithing as a Meaningful Monday. In fact, it was just a few months ago. You can look it up on my channel. It's very, very, very powerful practice. And when you do tithe, you must be very aware of the heart, the emotion that you have behind the tithe. It must be given with love. It must be given with gratitude. You know, the words I learned in tithing, these are not mine, I learned them from Paul Martinelli, from John Maxwell, is the money is not mine. I manage it. And for that, I get to keep 90%. So the money that flows into my life isn't mine. God gives that to me. It flows to me and then through me. And I am literally the hands of God in this world to do good here, to help, to make a difference, to add value. And as I do that, so the money's not mine, I manage it, and I do what I can in this world. And for that, I get to keep 90%. I think that's a pretty good deal. And it just helps me, reminds me, my cup runneth over. I am truly blessed. I'm so grateful. And that is the heart and spirit and the high vibration, which really results in the flow of that currency, that money flowing back into your life. And just to emphasize the point on giving is, even in the law of economics, is the first law of receiving is to give. So in the law of economics is to give first. If you think about getting a university degree, you've got to study first and then you get it. If you want to get a nice body, you got to go to the gym, practice for a long time, then you get it. You know, if you earn a salary, you got to work, and then you get the pay. So why do we think it's different with money? You got to give, and then it comes. So it's the same with money. And then there's just a quote there at the bottom. The law of giving and receiving is simply this. In a universe where the most absolute truth is that of oneness, you cannot ever take without taking from yourself, and you cannot give without giving to yourself. And that is why those who give get back, and those who take are taken from. It's true. What you sow, so shall you reap. Now, giving is only one half of the law of increase. Receiving is the other half. We can give and give, but we may unbalance the law unless we also expect to receive. I learned that in a very strange way, actually. I went on the cruise of Abraham Hicks to Alaska. I think it was in 2018. And they tell you when the ship docks in Alaska at these different towns, they put over the PA system that all these shops are going to give you a gift if you go. They're just jewelry shops. So I went with a friend into the one shop, and the guy was giving away a little tiny piece of jewelry for free just to thank you for coming into the shop, even if you didn't buy anything. And it was a little tiny pendant in silver. And I don't wear silver, I wear gold. I said, oh, no, thanks. Keep it for someone else. And she pulled me aside immediately and said, hey, you have to receive. You have to say thank you. And when people want to give you something, you've got to learn to receive it. If you're blocking just a person giving you a little gift like that, it means you're blocking in other things as well. And I thought, you know what? That is so true. So it is true. The one half of the law is to give, but the other half of the law is to receive. So just be aware of that. All right, lesson 2, surrender. Wow, this is massive. So surrender, even in my book, Living in the Flow, there's some very, in my view, powerful stories of how my life was so transformed and blessed every time I surrendered to the guidance. And the guidance is the guidance. I don't know how else to describe it, but when you are living with that awareness of your connection to God or source energy in your life, that everything is aware of you, or this whole universe. Call any name you give. I call it God, right? I'm a person of spiritual faith, and I call it God. When we're aware of God, being completely aware of everything in your life, everything, every thought you think, everything you do, every moment of everything, with that awareness, you kind of live in this beautiful space of total gratitude, reverence for everything that happens, really appreciating everything in life. And you'll find that you start to see more and more guidance, like happy coincidences, lucky things happening, synchronicities, people telling you something, something that you might have thought about doing just shows up in your life. And we need to take that guidance and surrender with gratitude. So I'll tell you a quick story of mine. About 3 years ago, it might even be 4 years ago. I work with Nancy, as I said. We've been working together for 5 years. I said to her, I really, really, really want to become a Heal Your Life trainer. I want to train the workshop Heal Your Life that Louise Hay did. And I know that you can get a certification. I don't know where you get it, but I would love to do that. Anyway, in the words of Abraham Hicks, people are cooperative components in the manifestation of all the things in our life. And Nancy, evidently in this story, is the cooperative component. What happened was she was listening to some YouTube video or something of Louise Hay's affirmations one random day, just recently, whilst washing dishes. And the affirmations ended, and she wanted to stop the phone and go to the next video, but her hands were wet from washing the dishes. So automatically the advert came up on YouTube, which she would have pressed skip, but her hands were wet and it played. And the advert was, how can you become a Heal Your Life workshop leader, certification, how the training works, the people's names, the contact, everything. And so she came and said to me, hey, this happened. You can do the course, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, great. Please find the details and let me know. So she did. She got all the details. She did the emails. She wrote. She came back. And then she said, there's a teacher in Australia, and it's in Cairns, and it's in October. And my very first reaction was no. Believe it or not, no. I'm too busy. I've got too many workshops on, masterminds, silver training. I can't do it. And her reaction was absolutely one of total 100% conviction. There is no way you are not going to do this. She said, you've been talking about this for years. Now the opportunity comes. There is no way. You got to clear your diary. You got to do what you got to do, but you got to attend this. She says, I'm going, you going, we both going. And, you know, I did surrender. I knew that it's something that I've always wanted to do and something that I actually, funny word to use, but I must do. So when I did surrender, what happens is we surrender to the guidance, and then we kind of justify it with logic. And all I was trying to think of, well, what's the return on the investment? It's so many days at the office. It was like a whole 10 days at the office. How much does the course cost? How much, all these kind of things, trying to work out what's the ROI, how soon, how long does it take to learn everything? What is the process? All these questions, trying to justify, where when it comes to intuition or God's guidance in your life, when we surrender, it never often fits in. I must just tell you that. It doesn't fit into your life. It comes at an inconvenient time. It seems like it's not going to work for you. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to take a lot from you. But please be aware that guidance is guidance, and we must obey it and we must follow it. And when we do, we are so, so ultimately blessed. So going to Cairns, doing the course, blessed me and my life more than I can describe. It was a transformational, it was so packed with blessings, and how that has changed me in that first, the 2 days we did the course, and then we had 5 days of teacher training. It was fantastic. Then coming back and me planning and delivering my first Heal Your Life workshop in December, I have to say, I really believe it was the 2 best days of my life that I've had yet. It was just the most beautiful 2 days, and I loved running that more than I ever thought I would. I knew I'd like it a lot, but I never thought it would be to the degree that it was. It was just really something, just fills my heart. So in your own life, when the guidance comes, follow it and surrender with total gratitude. And then just to remind you that life is this balance of surrender and discipline. It's not all surrender. Some people think, oh, I'm just going to sit back and go with the flow of life, and whatever will be, will be. No, there's a balance there of you create your own reality. You absolutely do. And you need to be an active creator of your reality. We're not victims in this world. We're not victims of circumstance. We have the faculties of the mind, and that's what the Silver Method is all about. How to create the life of your own, how to create the life of your own design, and how the Silver Method helps me do that in my life back in about 12 years ago, 13 years ago now. And the more you practice visualizing, using affirmations, if you want to do a vision board at the beginning of the year, please go ahead and do that. Do whatever you need. Write your goals down. Have a plan. Where do you want to go? What do you want to get to? What do you want to achieve? What is it that you want? And have processes that help you create your own life, because we are not victims. We're very powerful creators. So there's that discipline. And a discipline is things like have a morning routine, meditate every day, gratitude journal every day, visualize every single day of your life. Visualize what do you want, even if it's how the day must flow, or if it's a big goal that you want. Either one doesn't matter. Health is also a discipline. If you have something of spiritual faith, that's another discipline. So life is this balance between the disciplines we have, and when the guidance comes to give us these things we want in our life, these goals that we want to achieve, or whatever it is, we need to surrender. So big lesson. Always be aware of that guidance and following that guidance. Here are just some photos of the certified. This is my teacher, Trisha, and her assistant getting certified. There's Nancy. We both did the course together, so we're both workshop leaders, and it was just a wonderful thing to do, especially with her, knowing that we can both, help and teach other people. That's just a blessing. All right, so lesson 3 is always trust your intuition. And as I said earlier, I actually used this quote already. If prayer is when you are talking to God, then intuition is when God is talking to you. And I have to say, intuition is really a superpower. It says here, intuition is a superpower. The people who hear it, they know it is something mystical. knowing everything without thinking. It's a phenomenon beyond the mind. That's why the people who have not experienced it have a hard time believing in it. Well, I'm all about intuition. It's one of the chapters in my book. I teach the Silver Method. It's called Silver Life and Intuition System. So it's actually teaching intuition. And I can say intuition is the most valuable skill you can develop when you start to trust your own intuition, that guidance in your life, and you can discern between fear and intuition. Because sometimes you think, I've got to go do this, and you got this feeling that you think it's intuition. It's not. It's wrong. It's fear. Or sometimes we have wishful thinking, which also is incorrect. How do we discern? That's just refining your intuition. And for me, that's what the Silver Method has blessed my life enormously. The Silver Method was what developed my intuition so strongly. And I really am very discerning now. I know what is guidance in my life. I know the slightest subtle hint of guidance, like guided by the feather, I call it. And if you're not guided by the feather, you'll be whammed by the 4x4 to get you onto the path that you're meant to go. So intuition is really a great advantage when we need to make decisions, and we want to make the right decisions for us and take the right opportunities in our life and take the right path. Not that anything could ever be wrong. They're all lessons and they're all learnings. But really, when your life is so blessed, I find it's when I'm following my intuition, following my guidance. So the lesson for me in 2022 was there came a day we were sitting in the office and really struggling with certain contractors and stuff that I needed to get done, because I'm not going to do stuff regarding websites and, the platform and the IT stuff. And I remember in that moment, after making a mistake here and a mistake there over time and bumping my head, and everything just started to work out properly after making a decision one day in the office. Nancy and I was sitting there, and it was intuition that just something came up on the computer screen. We were Googling something, found a person, and things started to roll from there. And we actually said to each other that day, from now on, we are making decisions in this business based on intuition. We are no longer making decisions in this business based on logic, because logic's going to lead you wrong half of the time. In fact, Jose Silva says if you make decisions with your left brain, you will make the wrong decision. It's just a matter of time for you to work out it was wrong. But if you make decisions with your right brain, you will always be right. So when it comes to your life and decision making, I have to say intuition is the way to go. And I've made some major business decisions, in the last 2 years. And sometimes the one was a $20,000 decision. So it was a big decision. And I used the Silver Method laboratory and counselors, and I actually, if you've done the Silver Method, you can do this if you want to with someone that you know. I asked Nancy to go into her lab without telling her what it was about. And I gave her a process to do and to come back with an answer, and it's pure intuition on the decision that I wanted to make. It's quite an incredible story. Anyway, the answer came back full on yes. Mine was also full on yes. And it was completely against my logic. And I thought, I have to trust this guidance. And I'm telling you this because when you live this way, your life just gets better and better, more and more blessed. I recently found a person to help me with advertising for the Silver Method, because we're going to Perth. And that as well, it was through intuition, making the decision to work with this person, pure intuition. Another person came into my life to help me with Kajabi, the platform that my downloads and my meditations that you can buy, and my bonus videos for Think and Grow Rich or the other masterminds. Someone to help me with that, also guided by intuition. So, and they're all working beautifully. And when I made all these decisions before based on logic, I kept bumping my head. Even buying things. I was looking for so many years for a particular boat, and it's like Pacific Boating with that subscription, and the price went up and it got so expensive, and I kept thinking I've got to pay all this money. Anyway, I left it for, I'm talking about months, years. I left it. I kept going back to it once every 12 to 18 months. I'd go back to it. One night I had this incredibly strong impulse: open your phone and just look on boatsales.com. And I looked, and in the first, I promise you, the very first 2 or 3 boats that came up, the very first thing, as I opened the phone, I saw the boat that I've always wanted. I couldn't believe the price. It was a third of what I was expecting to pay, and I don't have it as a subscription. I actually own a share of the boat. So that's guidance. It helps you, it brings the blessings and the gifts and the things you want in your life to you in the most easy and seamless, most flowing way, without obstacles and without difficulties and challenges. Also, if I look back on the year 2022, the Silver Method class was getting pretty full in September, and my intuition, it was just pure intuition, said, run the class at MGSM, take another venue. And I did, and I happened to fill the biggest Silver Method class I'd ever run. There were 32 bookings for that class, and what a blessing to have that experience, to have such a big, wonderful class. In November, of course, there were no venues available, so I used my office. But I would have never got that experience and that blessing and the opportunity to train all those people and having such a wonderful energy in the room for everyone there. For everyone, it was a wonderful experience. Again, that was trusting my intuition, knowing that it would just work. All right, let's carry on. Lesson 4, maintain a teachable spirit. This is something that I really have a very strong focus on. Everything I do, especially if I do something more than once, I want to enter it with a teachable spirit, as if I'm a student of that thing again. The one thing I do, and if those of you who know me or my coaching clients, if you are one, you would have definitely been told about the 21-day mirror work by Louise Hay. So it's a free PDF. You can find it online, 21-day mirror work. But if you buy the video series of Hay House, the 21-day, it costs $120, but it's worth it. And there's a downloadable workbook there, which is just amazing. The Heal Your Life workbook, I highly recommend it for anyone. It's powerful. The point I want to make is I do the 21-day mirror work every year, about 2 or 3 times a year, because it helps improve my life in every way. But I've done it many times now. I've been doing this since 2019, 2 to 3 times a year. So by now I already know, like almost word for word, what's going to come on the next video and things like that. But I make a point every time I do it to enter that experience with a teachable spirit, as if I'm doing it for the very first time, and just become humble and get rid of any form of arrogance in me, because when we're arrogant, we can't learn. And and I was like that when I was younger. There's no doubt. If you knew me in my 20s, it was very much, I know. And now, if I can eradicate those words, I don't want to say I know. I want to learn, and have a continual mindset and a spirit inside me is always wanting to learn, never stop learning. And the other thing is to remain humble and know that I can learn from absolutely everyone. There is not a person, no matter their age. They can even be 3 years old. I can learn from them. They can be 98 years old. I can definitely learn a huge amount from them. So that's another lesson that came to me. And just, I love this image that I got, which says failure is an opportunity to grow. And there's a mastermind I do with kids called teenagers. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And it's all about taking mistakes, failures, downfalls, and converting them into something that adds value to your life, that helps you improve. When we get the growth and the learning from a failure in our life, it helps us actually become better and improves our life. Challenges help me grow. When I started to understand this and focus on the growth opportunities coming from challenges, it changed the way I felt with problems and challenges in my life. I used to dislike having them. I used to get stressed and think, I don't want to have this problem. Now it's like, right, here's an opportunity to become creative, Janine. And it is. Problems are an opportunity to become creative. And also to learn if things don't work out. Well, what can I learn from that? And how can I take that learning and actually improve? Because that's when things get better. It's all about our attitude and our effort. I love that. Feedback is constructive. So everything is feedback. Things going right in your life is feedback as to how you're thinking. Things going wrong in your life is feedback as to how you're thinking. Everything is the law of attraction, and everything in your life is feedback as to what's going on inside you. If you want to know what someone's thinking, look at the results in their life. And I'll say this for anyone, whether it's to do with health, happiness, career, money, it doesn't matter. And also, I am inspired by the success of others. I love that. I want everyone to thrive. I really do. And we are happiest when people around us are doing better. And if you're not happy for anyone else's happiness or success, you need healing. There's a part of you that needs healing, because other people's happiness and success should really be fuel for our own inner joy. Trying new things. This is so important. If we have a growth mindset, we try new things. When we don't have a growth mindset and we have a fixed mindset, we only stick to what we know, and we just stay between the lines our whole life until death. And it's a very average life. And we don't want that. We want to live life fully. All these things about a fixed mindset, just be aware that your mind never gets fixed. Like what you think you have ability or no ability to do, it's not true. You have infinite potential. The thought that you're either good at something or you're not is a limiting belief. To think that your abilities can't change, a limiting belief. Don't like being challenged, that's fear. That's fear because we don't have the mindset that challenges help me grow. Your potential is unlimited, as I said, not predetermined. When I'm frustrated, no, never give up. Never, ever give up. Persistence is the route to success. And feedback is not personal. Success and failure is not personal. Criticism is not personal. It's letting you know where you are. So definitely this is something very, very important. If you want a better life, get out of your comfort zone. Try new things. You're not going to be great at anything new, but when you're not great at it, you're learning, you're growing. Confusion is a state of learning. When I understood that, and I was getting so confused sometimes learning new courses or developing skills, I would embrace it and say, hey, confusion is a state of learning. If I'm so confused, I must be learning. So, yeah, big lesson. This is another major lesson, the law of impermanence. The law of impermanence is just that nothing is permanent, nothing stays the same. I love these are different ways of saying it. This will change also, or this too shall pass. Seasons come and seasons go. So like the ebb and flow of the tides in our lives, we ourselves, our life will have a natural high and a natural low. Things will go well, they won't go well. There'll be always ebb and flow. If you learn to go with the flow and actually rest in the lows, you'll find peace. Amen. I love that. So for me in 2022, I have two businesses. I help people invest in property, and I have the personal development and training business with coaching, the Silver Method, Heal Your Life, masterminds, things like that. And this year, the property side of the business had a really tough year, and that's because of the price increases in the construction industry. They went like crazy off the charts, caused a lot of developers to actually go bust. Luckily, none of them that we use, but so many developers went under. Contracts were reissued across almost every single property development this last year, whether it was work that we did or other developers out there, cancelling contracts and reissuing them at a higher price, because the price increase that they had to absorb would have made the thing that they were doing run at a loss. So either it was bankruptcy for the developer, or they had to increase the price halfway through construction when a price had been signed for in the contract stage already. That hasn't happened. We haven't seen that happen, from what I know, in 25 years or longer. So this is a massive change. And this caused a lot of people to get nervous, to get fearful, to back out of the decision. Then interest rates started going up. People became nervous, they backed away. You find homeowners disappear when interest rates go up. New time investors get fearful, they don't do anything. Seasoned investors climb in and they buy a lot because there's a lot available, especially when interest rates go up. There's less competition. So the property side of the business had, in terms of the law of impermanence, the 2 years before that, we were so busy. We had people on waiting lists. We couldn't get enough properties. Now, there still is a shortage of properties, but the whole dynamics of the market has changed, and that's the law of impermanence. And in my own business, the property side didn't do as well as I thought it would do, but my personal development side actually boomed. And I had a really, really fantastic year on the personal development side. So it's for me I'm very grateful that I have that balance, firstly. But it's not about accolades and achievement and that. It's about the awareness and the acceptance of all the ebb and flow in life. And as it says there, if you learn just to go with the flow and rest in the lows, you'll find peace. And there was a part of it where it was so busy, the property business, the 2 years before, I wouldn't have been able to actually cope this year if that was as busy as the personal development side. And then I found that it was a little bit less busy, and it's true. The rest in those lows, I did find, more peace because I could kind of attend to things. It was just sometimes it's too busy. There's too much going on. So it's just this acceptance, really, and just to remember, nothing will ever stay the same. So whatever's really great in your life, it's not going to go on forever, unfortunately, but it's the truth. And if anything's really bad in your life, it's not going to go on forever either. So it's more like living in this radical acceptance and knowing that this too shall pass, no matter what it is. I love this quote. It says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear, a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." So this is even in the Bible. So nothing stays the same. And this is about, if you think about the law of impermanence, just relate it to even emotions in your life. Not just areas of your life of business or success or categories, but even your emotions. If you're having a really, really bad day, that too shall pass. It won't last forever. And that helps us get through it. Okay, we're almost done. Lesson 6. Always have a personal development plan. I find, looking back on my life in 2022, I did a lot of personal development. I invested a lot of money in my own education. So for yourselves, whatever you are doing, whether you work for an employer or you work for yourself, no matter how many years you've been in your game and how good you are at it, always be improving. Always master your craft. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. Always. I don't like the saying practice makes perfect. That's nonsense. There is no perfect. You can always better your best. So for you, my message is for this year ahead, the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. Invest in yourself. Also, stay away from shiny object syndrome. I was like that once. I've got a pin board right in front of me as I look up here in my home office. I actually I think I've taken it down because I learned the lesson, but it said, stop shiny object syndrome. I used to go from course to course to course to course and study all this knowledge. You want to take the course you've done and practice it until you've got results. When you've got results and you're getting really good at that, then go into the next thing, master that, and so on. Otherwise, become personal development junkies and we don't actually apply anything. And you find your life doesn't change that much. Take the thing you've learned and practice it properly and deeply and get the results. And then you'll find your results change quite dramatically. Also, to tell you, you must invest in yourself, no matter who you are, no matter what age you are. Because if you're not growing, you really are going backwards. The world is continuously changing, continuously evolving. We have to evolve too, otherwise we get stuck behind. And the return on the investment in yourself is unlimited. Unlimited. If I think of any dollar I've ever invested in myself, from the John Maxwell team to doing the silver method to becoming a silver trainer, becoming a coach, no matter what it is, the rewards are infinite. They are endless, even in the quality of your relationships, in the love in your life, in the friendships that you have, in the happiness and the joy. Investing in yourself is the greatest investment you can ever make. And don't stop, do one thing and sit back for the rest of the year and do one thing a year. No, it's got to be continuous. I am always learning, always doing a course of some kind, always. And even besides reading a book, reading books are fantastic. Apply the learnings of whatever you're reading. And remember, the more valuable you become, the more value you add, the more value that you can create. There's a missing word there, more. So invest in yourself. Okay, last but not least, this is one of the biggest lessons for me personally for 2022. And it's a lesson that you've got to learn for the rest of your life ongoing. It's the law of non-attachment. Buddha's quote at the bottom there, the root of all suffering is attachment. And it's absolutely true. If you think of any time that you get really, really sad about anything, it's because you're attached to that something. When we come to learn, and it's through practice, that your happiness does not depend on any person or any outside circumstance or any place or anything. It depends on you. You are free. When we are too attached to how a person needs to behave and how conditions need to be and how business needs to run and how a person needs to behave and how your partner needs to behave for you to be happy, and all that attachment is causing suffering. Let it all go. Do not be attached to anything. Only worry about yourself and managing your own emotions. You can't control what you're attached to. You can only control yourself. You can choose to be unconditionally happy. If you're making notes, please write that down. Write it down in the I term. I can choose to be unconditionally happy. When you say, I'm so unhappy because this person did this to me, that's victimhood. You are so unhappy because you choose to be so unhappy, not because someone did anything to you. Yes, people can do things. It's not the reason you're unhappy. The reason you're unhappy is because those are your emotions and you need to own them. And non-attachment is when we let everyone off the hook as to how they need to be for us to be happy. You know, some people say, if only my partner would be more this, I'd be happier. If they only be less that, I'd be happier. Let them off the hook. You make yourself happy. You choose your own happiness. And when you attach to anything, you're also a victim. Remember that, because you're giving the power to that thing to give you joy or unhappiness as opposed to yourself. And attachment will result in a need to please, which leads to resentment, also known as suffering. So when we attach to something, we find that we have a need to please. If you are very attached to a person, you might do something just to please them because you want their approval or you want their love or you want their acknowledgement. And if you keep on pleasing, people pleasing, over time, there are going to be days where you don't want to do things and you're going to be doing it for people pleasing. You're going to land up with resentment. And that's terrible. And that resentment is suffering. It's no good. So that's a big lesson. I found, I have to say, after doing Heal Your Life myself, and I attended it in October, I'm always letting go of what people think more and more. I learned that from Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the 6 ghosts of fear at the end of the book, extra chapter there, 6 ghosts of fear. One of the fear is the fear of criticism and caring about what other people think. And I'm aware of that, and I'm always working on thinking, you know, if it ever comes up, not to care about what other people think and do what I want to do. But I always have an element of it, and I'm sure you do too. We are human. But I found after doing Heal Your Life, because of that self-love, doing that course and that radical transformation in those 2 days, that I've let go so much more of what other people think, less worried about other people's perception. There's some people that you'll have in your own life potentially. I have got a couple of people that when I thought about it deeply, I found I was actually intimidated to a degree by them. And after doing Heal Your Life, nothing, and I mean absolutely zero, thought or worry or consideration as to what their perception of me is, zero. And I love that. It just makes me more comfortable in my own skin. I can be more authentic. And I'm telling you, Heal Your Life, that's the biggest gift. You become more and more authentic and your heart is more open. It's just a really, really beautiful transformation. So I'm in the process of further non-attachment. I know that I am attached. We were talking about this just over the last few days with some friends. People that we really love, there's no doubt I'm attached to these people. And if I think about them disappearing out of my life, it makes me incredibly sad. That's normal, guys. That's normal. That's grief. Where there's loss, there's grief. However, the attachment that I won't be okay without them, or I won't be fine, or things won't work, that is attachment. So that's the faith that we need to develop. And for me, the faith comes if I focus on my relationship and my spirituality and my relationship with God, it alleviates that I'm trying to be non-attached. I find it difficult to work on non-attachment with people that I love. But if I change my focus to let me get a better relationship with God and trust with full faith that I'll always be okay and everything works as it's meant to be and everything happens for a good reason, then I find the rest takes care of itself. So again, it comes back to the spiritual development and having faith. And a great affirmation is always, no matter what happens, I will always be okay. And if you can adopt that as your own affirmation, you'll be better off in life. And it's true. No matter what happens, I will always be okay. And you can say that for yourself. No matter what happens, you'll always be okay. Here's a nice quote. Non-attachment. Live in the world, but not of it. So as you detach yourself to the results of situations and detach yourself from the expectations of other people, you can live in peace and freedom. So live in, but not of. It's not just, one thing. It's not like just your career. It's also relationships. Be in relationships, but not of them. You're not part of the relationship that it's part of you. And if it's not there, you're going to be dead and you won't go on and you will just disappear, no. Be in it, but not of it. So that's everything. Your health, even your body. You are in this body, but not of the body. So love the body. Take care of the body. Take care of your health. Nurture yourself. But don't be attached. If you have an illness, don't be attached to that illness. Some people are so attached to their illnesses, they can't let them go. They make it part of their identity. They can't say, oh, no, I've got this condition. If I stop saying that, who am I? That becomes part of it. We have to be detached even from the body. So it's career, business, relationships, health, body, everything. And then we can live in real peace and find more and more freedom. So just a summary of the lessons learned. Forgiveness, it's a practice. Surrender, the balance between discipline and surrender in our lives, following the guidance of our intuition, always coming to everything with a teachable spirit, including every person that you meet. Being humble. Remember the law of impermanence, nothing stays the same. This too shall pass, no matter what it is. And the big lesson of non-attachment, knowing that attachment is the root of all suffering. So that's that. Once you've gone through this, maybe for yourself or learn something, go and reflect on your own categories of your own life and reflect and see what lessons you have for yourself. Take mine, learn from mine, and definitely have some of your own. So that's it from me for Meaningful Monday. Just quickly what's coming up. In terms of the next events, the Silver Method, the next one is in Perth. For anyone who's in Perth or knows anyone in Perth, please let them know there are only 10 seats left. The 19th to 22nd is going to be at a place called Como. The suburb is Como in Perth, so it's very well located, north and south of the river, apparently. Then Developing the Leader Within You 2.0, amazing book of John Maxwell. I'm doing a mastermind on it. It's 5 weeks. It starts at the end of January. The date's not there, but it's the 31st of January, I think it begins. We meet for 2 hours once a week between 7 and 9 on Zoom or in person, up to you. And we study this book, and not just study it. You can read a book. You don't need me for that. It's not studying the book. It's sharing and dissecting and digging really deep into the conditions and circumstances and people in your life and how these leadership lessons relate to you and how you apply them. See the results you get, which is your feedback. Bring the feedback to the next mastermind. And when everyone is sharing this, it's exceptionally powerful. And you get to actually integrate the learning over the 5 weeks and make real change, which is much, much more powerful than doing like a 1-day course or 2-day course, or even just reading the book. When you're in a mastermind, the application is much deeper and much stronger. Then for those in Sydney, the next Sydney Silver Method is in February 16th to 19th. There's 1 seat left, guys. It might even be sold out by today, I'm not sure, but just 1 seat. If you find the website sold out, please just contact me and go on a waiting list. People inevitably always last minute have some crisis potentially come up and they have a space open. So if you want to go on the waiting list, you can, and you may be able to get a seat. Otherwise, the one after that is in May. So just to tell you, the Developing the Leader Within You Mastermind, these are the chapters. It's a fantastic book, one of the best leadership books ever. We do chapters like influence. So, do you want to develop your influence? How to work with priorities and become more time efficient and effective in your life? Character, who you are and how you can improve your character, because we definitely can change our character. How to create positive change. That's a true test of leadership. Being able to problem solve. That's one of the greatest chapters of actually delivering skills and how you can become a better problem solver, because it is a skill. Attitude, great chapter, and this is all so important when it comes to tough times in our life, difficult times. Chapter on serving people, which is the heart of leadership. Vision and casting vision and creating your own vision for your own life and where you want to go and how you can get there. Self-discipline. Whoa, this is a great chapter. And if anyone thinks they struggle with self-discipline, you won't think so after going through this. And then the best chapter of all, I believe, the whole book, it's a inspiring, off the charts inspiring chapter on personal growth and the opportunities and the potential for you in your life. So that's that. If you'd like to join, then that's the May Silver Method. Please book early for this, because as you can see, the February class is sold out already a month and a half before. May will also be sold out a month or 2 before. So if you want to jump in, please book early. Then Heal Your Life 2-day workshop. I'll be doing the second one. I'm very excited because I loved the first one. It's going to be in March. It's not open yet. We are already oversubscribed with expressions of interest for this. We're only taking 12 people. I have about 19 or 20 people who said they're interested. It's 997. The early bird is 749. Bookings are going to open. I'm not sure if the 13th or 15th. Sorry, I must just check. I've got the 13th of January there. But we will send out communication saying when bookings will open. And please, when the bookings open, jump on that day at 9 in the morning and book your ticket if you want to join, because they will be sold out. The first one was sold out, and this one will be sold out too. It's a fantastic course. I highly recommend it. It's the most transformational 2 days, I promise you, you'll ever experience. Hands down, it was for me. And I've done a lot of personal development work over many, many years. And it's beautiful. All I can say is it's blessed my life. So that's it from me. We'll do a quick guided meditation now. So just grab a paper and pen, get a comfortable position. I'll turn my camera off. And we're going to do a quick guided meditation here. So just relax. Actually, I might just play this that I wanted to play. Okay, so close your eyes. Find a comfortable position and consciously relax your body from the top of your head all the way down to your feet. Relax your scalp, your forehead, your eyes, your whole face, your jaw and your tongue. Relax. Drop your shoulders and relax. Your arms, relax your arms and your hands. And let this feeling of relaxation flow slowly downward, all the way down to your toes. You're now going to create in your mind your ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere that you've been or somewhere that you'd like to go. But just allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. You can begin to experience that place now. Enjoy your ideal place of relaxation. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. The light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the cascading white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. And feel it clearing away all the stress, the tension, the clutter from your whole energy field, your whole life. As the light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face and see how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. And notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a nice deep belly breath in, relax even deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions and images bring me benefits I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony, physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually. Now I want you to imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a beautiful glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All the hurts you felt, all the pain you felt, the angry moments, just allow this green light, this beautiful unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve prosperity, abundance, and you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of your waterfall. So step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered. You have clarity. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Now that you've reset your body and mind for the month, it's time to set your intention for the month ahead. So tune in now to your own inner wisdom, your higher self, your intuition, the part of you that when you tuned in guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. And the best way to know if it's our intuition is to trust your first impressions. Don't overthink anything. I'm going to ask you a few questions now and write down your first answers that come to you. And just follow your first impressions. They will always guide you, and they'll always guide you right. So as you relax and feel the alignment with your higher self, feel the connection, trust yourself, and ask yourself the following question. What do I need to focus on for the month of January? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. And then take a deep breath, close your eyes, and re-enter your meditation. What do I need to focus on for the month ahead? Stay relaxed. Breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically. And now, when you get the answer to the next question, just write down your first impressions. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to do, be, or have? What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to do, be, or have? Write down your first impressions, then take a deep breath, close your eyes, and re-enter the meditation. Next question. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And last question, is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to know or anything else I need to do? Just, is there anything else? And now just allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, just relax. Bring your attention back to your body. Gently wriggle your fingers and toes. At the count of 3, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. Thank you ever so much for taking part in the first Meaningful Monday of 2023. I wish you everything of the best, lots of love. May God bless you. May you have a wonderful, wonderful year ahead, and may January be an awesome start to the year for you. And take the lessons, some are mine, some are your own, from your own reflection, and just make it a wonderful year by taking those lessons and using them to improve the year ahead. All right, my friends, thank you so much. And all the other Meaningful Mondays are on the YouTube channel, Silver Method Australia, or my name. You'll find them there. So there's a library of over 200 videos now. If you like them, please share them with others and invite them to Meaningful Monday. Otherwise, I'll see you on the first Monday of February at 8 p.m. for the next Meaningful Monday, and definitely the next one will be live. Okay, have a wonderful rest of the evening and the wonderful month ahead. Bye-bye and God bless.